Now, if you've been following Oyster's progress, particularly over the last few years, when it comes to the aft cabin, none of this will be a particular surprise to you. It does, after all, follow sort of normal run of things. Great big berth in the middle, lots of space, lots of airy feel about the cabin. These beautiful seascape windows that really make such a big difference. I actually stayed in this cabin last night and it's fantastic. You wake up and you're just in touch with everything. You can see out across the water. It's lovely. It's really, really nice. But it's a familiar formula that they've been using again and again on boats, and I can see why. But there are some subtle differences throughout the boat, but one in here you can see is actually the lighting. It's this LED lighting up here underneath the headliner. And it's difficult to see quite how effective it is during the daytime, but at night it's really nice. It gives a very soft, sort of mellow feel, and there are different settings that you can do by using the switches over here. You can have the bright lights or cool setting or nighttime setting, and it makes such a difference. It's really nice. Other than that, as I say, it's a big spacious cabin. It has a heads and a shower facility as you would expect over there. Loads and loads of stowage space, lots of light, two hatches here as you would expect where the light streams in, and it's really quite a nice place to be. Now, one little thing that I did notice having spent the night in this cabin was actually, whilst it's fantastic to have this view, actually when you're in a marina there are times when you'd rather others didn't have the view going that way. Sorted. Just as the owner's cabin might look pretty familiar to you, when it comes to the galley, well, it's much the same story. It's a longitudinal galley, a very familiar configuration across the Oyster range, and of course with very good reason, because it's really practical. I mean, not least of all, it's secure whichever way you're sailing, whichever tack you're on, whether it's that tack or that tack. It's got plenty of headroom here, plenty of space. Good amounts of worktop space, lots of worktop space actually, really decent fiddles, lots of stowage, lockers on this side, down here. We've got a fridge freezer here, well the fridge anyway here, the freezer here. We've got a dishwasher. It's pretty much as you would expect. But one of the most noticeable things in this galley at least is the fact that it's all electric. So we've got induction hob, an electric oven and a microwave. No gas at all. Now of course that's not exactly groundbreaking, but it is proving to be a more popular option, particularly I'm told with people who are going on long round the world cruises where getting gas and getting the right connections and the rest of it can sometimes be quite a big deal. Of course here you're completely self-sufficient. It all runs either from shore power or from the generator, and if you do have a problem with that, then the microwave here will run off inverters off the service battery. When it comes to the forward double, once again it's very much as you would expect. Big double berth in the middle, lots of stowage, beautifully put together, beautifully finished off. But a couple of things really stand out for me. One is the amount of light that comes streaming in. Normally you just have a simple hatch on the foredeck, but here we've got a great big longitudinal panel up there that really allows light to stream in. It has of course got the blinds as you would expect, but really, really nice. The other thing that strikes me is a little bit more subtle, I guess, in a way, in that it's not quite as beamy as you might expect up here, and it's actually quite tall as well. And I think that speaks volumes, pardon the pun, about the bow shape, the hull shape of this boat. It's quite a fine entry to this boat, and you really sort of start to feel that down below. It's not a negative, it's just something that you notice, because there's plenty of space here anyway. When it comes to the heads, there's a Jack and Jill door here, as they say, which takes you through into the heads here. And it's also shared through another door, just here, for the cabin on the port side. If big spacious saloons are your thing, well, there's plenty of it here. It's a great big, light, airy space, as you can see. It's a pretty well tried formula. There's nothing particularly special in the layout. The saloon seating over here, a table that opens out, more seating over there. You can have individual stools here if you want to just operate off this table, or right the way across if you're going for the big entertainment. But the thing that strikes you again down here is just look out of these windows. You can spend hours, as I have done already, just gazing out of these windows from down below, and that really doesn't happen very often. It's really nice to sort of be in touch with what's going on out there. Now, what else is there to see? Well, one of the things that really caught my eye is definitely the lighting around here, and a lot of effort's been put into the style and the ambience and really upping the feel, and they've done a really, really good job, I'd say. You don't see so much of it in the daylight, but in the evening it's fantastic. Now, what else? Come over to the navigation station over here. Firstly, it's got one. Not everybody has a navigation station nowadays, but call me old-fashioned, but I think it's an essential part of the boat. This is interesting because it's set at an angle, which is quite handy actually, because no matter which way you're sailing, you can brace yourself in this quite easily. So that's really good. Plenty of space for instrumentation. A conventional panel here, but also Oyster's new Guardian Angel system, which is over here, which we'll talk about separately. But that's very interesting indeed, and a whole subject in itself. But overall, a really good navigation area, plenty of room for charts and pilot books and laptop computers and the rest of it, and good secure seating. And then behind the nav station, we've got the skipper's cabin, which is also another favourite area of mine, because what a perfect place to sleep that is. In the middle of the boat, low down, close to the nav station, close to the cockpit. In fact, you can even talk through the window that's actually in the side of the cockpit there, so you're completely in the heart of the boat. So a really nice setup. Not rocket science, but nicely done, beautifully executed, as you would imagine. Beautiful woodwork throughout, and really nice styling. This is definitely, if you were expecting a massive quantum leap into something else, you're not going to find it on this boat. What you will find is a progressive step into something that is just even more refined than her sister ships. When it comes to configurations, probably the most popular one I would imagine is going to be the one that we're on, where there's an owner's double aft, a guest double forward, bunk berths on the port side, and a skipper's cabin here that also doubles as a workshop. But you can have the owner's cabin forward, have doubles aft, and you can make that cabin forward a double cabin. So there are options, but I suspect this is probably going to be the most popular choice.